today. So let's get to the issue, which won't go away. First of all, we're going to have the coordinators on today, somewhere in the 1 o'clock hour. So I don't even know how much commentary we'll have. But this is a big coordinator day because Vic Fangio needs to explain a few things today. And I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say. But let's get into the Nick Sirianni thing, because the criticism on the guy has been relentless, not only in this city, but outside this city. And so here's what I'll have to say about it. Now, and the perception is this, that he screwed up. But he didn't really screw up. It's just that the perception is that he screwed up. So what that tells me is this is a man who stands on very thin ice in general as the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Is it unfair? It probably is. But here's the thing, and this is why I keep going back to why they brought him back. The Eagles totally have asked for this scrutiny. They've asked for it by deciding to bring him back, and they probably brought him back for the same reason, for the wrong reasons. I'm sorry. They brought him back for the wrong reasons, which was they still had to pay him out some money, and not bringing him back would have defeated their concept of that they're smarter than everybody else by finding the next new shiny toy. But make no mistake about it, they brought back a guy that this town at this moment really doesn't believe in. I think my partner believes in him, but the town in general doesn't believe in him. And when the town doesn't believe in him, the least little thing that happens is going to raise the questions about whether he's worthy to be the coach. And we're going to have to live in this kind of an era. This is the one reason why I said they needed to cut bait. They needed to start all over, because he's never going to get a fair shake. What he did, I agreed with. The call that he did, I agree with. Some football people will agree with it, some don't. But mainstream national pundits are ready to broil him because it's so easy to say you shouldn't run the ball when that pass should have definitely been completed. And if that pass is completed, they win the game. And everybody's saying, wow, what a gutsy call that he allowed Kellen Moore to do there. But instead it went the opposite way. Why did it go the opposite way? Because the majority of people don't believe in Nick Sirianni as a head coach. Bill?
Here we go. I got to be the Nick Sirianni defender here, and it's just because I'm trying to be objective with this. What bothers me the most is, well, let's go back. The reason a lot of people wanted Sirianni gone, including you, was because the narrative was he lost the team. The players didn't want to play for him anymore, right? He doesn't have the respect of the players in that locker room.
Well, I don't know if he did or not.
That's what a lot of people said.
But I look at the result. Forget about what I thought the players were thinking of him. He lost 7 of 8. The team needed a tourniquet. He couldn't find one. That's why I wanted him gone. I didn't even care about what the players thought of him at that point.
All right, so you wanted him gone just because of the 7 of 8. But there were a lot of people who said they lost 7 of 8 because the players tuned him out. They stopped playing for him. What I've seen the first 2 weeks, that's not the case. As much as I'm upset with the way the defense looks, as much as I'm upset that they lost a winnable game against the Falcons, I don't see a team that's not playing for their head coach. So let me get that out of the way first. But what bothers me here is I said this all summer when they did decide to bring him back. Nick Sirianni is in a lose-lose situation. When they win, it's Kellen Moore, it's Vic Fangio, it's Howie Roseman. Sirianni doesn't do anything. When they lose, it's all Sirianni's fault.
But he created that. He created the landscape for it by losing 7 of 8. What do you expect people are going to think?
Well, let me ask you.
That it's not his fault. He lost 7 of 8.
Saquon Barkley catches that ball. The narrative in this city would have been, the phone calls would have been, how smart is Kellen Moore?
I just said that. But
what a great job by Kellen Moore.
No, not necessarily. Because we all know that the head coach has final say. The head coach has to sanction to play. The head coach is getting blamed for sanctioning the play now.
I think you're being naive right here. Because how many people would have said, Sirianni has no control. He has no say. That was all Kellen Moore. That's all we've heard about this man. And that's what bothers me. He is in a lose-lose situation. No matter what Sirianni does, it's either his fault or he doesn't get the credit.
What was the point of bringing him back? We keep going back to the start. If you knew he was on this kind of a short leash and they lose a game like this, they're 1-1. The sky's not falling. It's ridiculous to have people overreact because they lost that game to the Falcons, as bad a loss as it was. But they're not going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
But who's they? The fans.
I'm talking about the fans in general, the climate, the landscape here. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how people are reacting. I'm not talking about inside the locker room. I don't know what's going on inside the locker room. I assume nothing's going on inside the locker room. They can't be bailing out on the guy now. I'm talking about the criticism that comes to him the Eagles asked for. They asked for that by bringing him back. So the least little thing that happens, and let's look at this, they lost one game. That's the least little thing. That's the smallest common denominator. And people are bailing. And everybody thinks he's a boob.
You're right, they do. But
Okay.
I don't think that the Eagles, the front office I'm talking about, should make decisions based off of what the fans want. Because the fans wanted Sirianni fired. They should have fired him.
You're missing my point. You have to also, when you run an organization, you also have to think of whether there's going to be any confidence engendered. And when he came into this year, he was positioned as a neutered coach. Let's face it. They said, we're hiring your coordinators. You just kind of float around and be the CEO. They set it up that way.
They did set it up that way. But you're saying he's a neutered coach, but yet he's not neutered when the decision was to go for a pass play on 3rd and 3. That's Sirianni.
I'm just trying to explain why people are coming at him. This is the only thing that we look at right now. People are coming at him. Local media coming at him, national media coming at him. Everything is coming at him because he does not engender confidence. You know how hard of an uphill climb this dude would have now? If they're bailing out after one game, this dude, and I see at least one more loss coming up in the next couple of weeks, right? This dude is going to have to climb Mount Everest to get people to believe in him again.
He is going to have to do that. And you're right. When they hired him again, or not hired him, when they retained him and didn't fire him, you knew this was what was going to happen. But they can't worry about what the fan base is saying.
But it's a negative vibe. You're missing it. It's not the fan base in general. It's the negative vibe that follows the guy. You can't. A negative vibe is no good for any team, even if it doesn't get inside the locker room.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong about the negative vibe. But the guy that a lot of people want is Bill Belichick. Wait till I tell you the story about what Bill Belichick did to the Philadelphia Eagles.
I don't want Bill Belichick. I don't want Bill. I'm not yelling for Bill Belichick here. I'm not even yelling for Sirianni's head. I'm just trying to justify why they're coming at him with slings and arrows, and they lost one game.